Wellness. And this evening we're going to be talking about the feet some and how they affect our balance. So, does the condition of our feet affect our ability to balance? So, I sometimes like to answer a question with a question in what is our first point of contact with the ground? That is our feet. So usually our first part of contact is pretty important. So, you know, I kind of think of the feet as they're our foundation. You know, just like if you're building something, there has to be a foundation laid, and that foundation is our foot. So it's very important to our ability to be strong and balanced. So if there is something going on in it, it can definitely affect our balance. So, you know, if you think about it, our feet are essential in all of our body movements. And that's what helps propel our body forward. It's what bears our weight. So if they're super rigid, that's going to affect, you know, one of our mentors always said, what is below, so is above. So if our feet are really rigid, it's going to go through the body. If our feet aren't balancing, you know, we have 4 points on our feet that are supposed to be making contact with the ground when we're standing for balance. And if those aren't because of, you know, our alignment, that can also affect our structure and make our structure very unstable. But, you know, that's all. We're talking about stability and strength in the foot, but it's also very important that it's flexible so it can be mobile.
Yeah, very pliable.
So, you know, we always kind of look at it as the feet, actually the whole body, but we're talking about feet tonight. Feet have to be as strong as they are flexible.
Yeah, because you have your feet have 26 bones, you know, 32 joints, you have 38 muscles and 56 ligaments in it, and it's complex. Like, look how many bones that are in your foot alone. Let me turn it this way here. So, you know, this is your heel here, and then look at all the bones structurally that's in here. So how many percentage of weight did you were saying earlier about the foot, how much weight is contacted into the feet, is supported? Well, anyway, we're a conversation we had later. But anyway, the bones, there's a lot of bones there, right?
So and that should tell us that
how important that is. But again, so when you go up the leg from there, like, look how many bones are in the foot and ankle, and then look from that point up, you have your tibia and fibula. There's 2 bones. They're longer, but comparably to what's here, and it's not just, they're segmented. They're segmented, so that means they need, like your fingers, they need to bend. And can they bend? Yes. Can they bend? Can they bend? So they're very segmented. So why is it designed that way? So if you think about your hand, you're picking things up and you're pushing your hand out, and you can utilize your hand. Your foot's the same way. And like Patty said, when your foot makes contact to the ground, it transfers all types of things into your body, but your brain is, boom, going, okay, we need to keep going that way to get what we need to get, or nope, we don't need to go that way because maybe there's danger, or maybe there's something that we need to take a different route, right? But if we never have the feet make contact, then that's a sensory, that's a feeling, because again, we have 7,000 proprioceptors in the bottoms of our feet. That's like the GPS of our entire body, right? It tells us where we are in space. So if we don't have that, and we might not know where we're going and kind of feel lost.
Or if we have, you know, since we're talking about balance, if we're imbalanced and we have weight, you know, shifted just into our heel, that's going to set everything above it off. Or if we have the weight just over into the side of the foot, that's going to set our balance off. So being able to make contact, with our big little toe heel is really important. And the ability for those to reach in and be strong into the ground is very important. So, a little exercise that you could kind of play with at home to kind of, see is just stand and get your feet, pointed straight ahead. Because I always, the other thing is, imagine you have flashlights on the end of your toes. And we want our feet going straight ahead because that's where we're going. So if our feet are veering off and then we're trying to go forward, it's giving mixed signals to the body, and it's going to create imbalances in the body. And if our feet's turning in, it's going to do the same thing. If say our toes are curling up, we've gotten hammer toes because of our shoes compressing, or because we've been trying to grip the ground because of the strength is off in the foot. Think of that. Now our toes are pointed down into the ground, and then we're going to try to move. So one, is giving a mixed signal as to which direction we're moving. And then two, there's no flexibility there. So when we go to try to push off, we're not pushing off of the ball of the foot, which is going to create imbalance. Or if we've had a bunion show up in our foot from, the pressure of our shoe and the weight going in, that bunion is going to direct us and imbalance the foot, because that's a protrusion was not meant to be in the balancing part of our feet.
Yeah. So the weight of the foot. So if your weight's to the back of the foot and your heel, and you live back there, then your body's confused about going forward, right? That'd be like, putting your car in reverse and expecting to go forward, right? So if you want to go forward, you put it in drive and go forward. So your weight needs to be able to transfer, even though it strikes into the heel as you go through your gait, but it's a transferring weight that goes from the back to the front. So it's propelling you forward. So if you want to go forward, it's ideal to have the foot primed and pliable and highly aware that that's where it wants to go, because then it's a connection between what the brain's thinking as well. Less confusion.
Yeah. And same if we're trying to stand and balance, and we have all of our weight shifted to the heel or the side of the foot or to the front, it's going to set our center of gravity off. Yeah. Because if you think about that, we're trying to balance the foot, and that's what balances us, is by being on the right points. If we're not, then that sends our center of gravity off, which makes it very challenging to balance. Yeah. And then if we try to go walking, especially as we age, a lot of us start getting more fearful of being able to walk or going and walking, and we need to walk. We need to stay active, and so that's something that we're very passionate about, is teaching people how to find that strength and the balance and the flexibility in the feet, so that you can stay independent and you can keep enjoying all the activities that you've always enjoyed. And also, a lot of times when we have imbalances in the foot, we also have pain. So staying out of pain also. Right,
which then puts the back in the fear of actually doing something. It's like when you go to stand or balance, like outside your normal place, like your home, like you're standing in line at the supermarket, that's still foreign to you. So you're in a foreign place, even though you might be used to a grocery store, but it's not like standing. If you stood in front of your kitchen sink, you probably stand there often. So maybe it's less fearful for you, but when you start getting outside your homestead and you're starting to go places, you need to make sure that your feet are responsive to what in these foreign places you're going to be, because you didn't expect that sidewalk, you didn't expect that slope, you didn't expect those stairs you had to go up. Those are unknown things that you encounter all the time, and it's really important that that your feet are a part of you, that go, not separate. I think think is
And
important.
then just to kind of finish up real quick is, you know, the other thing to think about is our feet have 7,000 proprioceptors per foot.
Mm-hmm.
And so proprioceptors are what tells our body where we are in space. And so if we're wearing, you know, rigid shoes or never going without our shoes, we're pretty much taking the sensation away to where our feet are not able to GPS any longer and not know and not be able to, you know, tell our body where we're at, and makes it much more challenging to balance. So just another little tidbit there. But we'll kind of wrap this one up for this evening, but we'd love to hear your questions, or, you know, any little aha moments of, you know, how, you know, what you think about this with the feet and your balance and all that. So talk to you soon.
Take care.
Way longer than
How long we got?
11 minutes.
All right, Dave.
Yeah, it's over there.